Hey everyone, I'm just making a video around maintenance for people. So you should be able to see me and the slides there. And what we're doing is basically I'll run through what maintenance is for people, kind of why it's important, how we do it, and some behaviors around it. So in the sense of like nutrition and training, when we talk about maintaining, it's just the act of keeping your weight consistently steady over time without huge fluctuations. So it's really important, especially if you're transitioning straight from like fat loss into maintaining, is that um because what happens is if people lose weight and depending on people's behaviors during their weight loss or how people go about their weight loss, what can often happen is you see like a post diet rebound where people will put weight back on, and oftentimes if people have done it badly they'll put on more weight, particularly if people have been like super strict or rigid and they've been torturing themselves and then they like binge and go the other way and just throw everything out the window for a while and then like put a load of weight back on. Or if someone does like some sort of juice cleanse only and just loses like water weight and stuff like that, they'll put that weight back on. So like we'd see it as a mark of success as well, that generally speaking when people lose weight with us, we should see that weight generally stays off, because what we're targeting is fat loss. So we want to keep muscle mass, and not just talk about weight loss only. And weight loss or maintaining, when you reach that point, it's kind of self-determined. So we can have an input, but generally speaking, it's based on your targets or goals. So whatever you set out when you sit down and think about where you want to get to, whether it's a clothes size, a weight, a body fat percentage, it could be a number of different things. And really, what we're trying to do is obviously embed really good habits and behaviors in everyone, particularly starting off. So you have these kind of behaviors that you build on, and then you're able to maintain them. Like, and what we really look at is this should be like a long term, like a lifestyle and something that suits your lifestyle. It's easy. It's not torture for you every week. You can kind of have bits and bobs of different foods that you like, and it's based around matching your food to your energy, and you can really do that then for the rest of your life, really. And the other thing that's important when we transition into maintenance, it kind of indicates a shift to prioritizing performance over fat loss. So like say when we're targeting fat loss, like that's the primary goal. And like say people will get fitter and do different things for sure as you lose weight, but losing weight and getting fat off is the main priority. Whereas when we look at maintaining our performance, what we would want to try to do is like maybe set some targets around like getting stronger, getting fitter, those sort of things. Whereas like they're secondary when fat loss is the main target. Like I'm not necessarily too worried about that because that will come. Whereas like I just want to get fat off, say. Whereas in maintenance, the other aspect of this that's really important is in terms of motivation. Fat loss motivation is very clear and very visible in terms of like, right, I'm on a scale every week or every 2 weeks and I can see that number dropping down. And then sometimes people can, get to their goal or target and be like, well, what now, kind of, because I was so driven by this number on the scale. So to increase and continue with that motivation, what we want is people to then maybe set some targets in terms of like, right, maybe improve my body composition. So trying to like increase lean mass and decrease body fat, or trying to go from like running a 5K or a 10K in a certain time, or doing a certain amount of push-ups, or maybe trying to do more strength stuff, do chin-ups, whatever it may be. But you've got to have some other goals or targets that you can work towards, because we all always need motivators essentially. And this is just a quick chart just to show in terms of the amount of calories someone will consume for like weight loss, maintenance, weight gain. So just this is an example of, say, if someone is consuming 1,800 calories a day for maintenance, 2,100 calories plus would be weight gain, say, and about 1,500 so calories will be weight loss. And we've ways of measuring and tracking and seeing how many calories you take in versus many calories you put out essentially. But the easiest way and to know if you're in maintenance is that your weight should stay relatively stable. And some people will naturally do this in terms of you figure out how many calories you need based on the amount of energy or exercise you do. They kind of cancel each other out and your weight should hover around the same. Whereas if you're weight is gradually increasing, you've been consuming too many calories. And so those things won't change for anyone. It'll always be those kind of numbers, whereby having less than that maintenance will lead to weight loss and more will lead to weight gain. And we can measure and track everything exactly day in, day out. So we kind of guess and have different things to measure, whether it's fitness, whether it's our weight and stuff like that. Um, so when you're in maintenance, there's days you're going to probably be a little bit below, days above, but they'll all cancel out, and it's the average that's important in terms of like the average over the course of a week, the average over the course of 2 weeks, a month, whatever it is. And we can just kind of check and measure your weight to see what's going on with that. So that's an easy way of checking. If you've been losing weight, we can certainly say you've been in a deficit. If you've been gaining weight, we can say you've been in a surplus. And if you're in a maintenance, you've kind of cancelled each other out, and you've probably hovered around that maintenance level. And if we want to make increases, we either decrease calories through food or increase what we burn through exercise. So when I sat down to go through the different things and the maintenance kind of plan and stuff, it's not necessarily about rules as such. It's more to do with behaviors. The more I kind of got into it and thought about it. So the main prominent rule you'll see on the page is that maintenance people can have carbs like pre and post exercise, and if they have like an extra bit of carbs on a training day, it's not going to be the end of the world. So they have a little bit more freedom than fat loss only. And all that is if I go back a slide, is those extra carb calories are bringing you up, say from, if protein and fat stays the same, which it should, those extra carb calories are bringing you up from weight loss to maintenance, essentially. So yeah, when we look at maintenance behaviors, this is some of the aspects are key behaviors for people that generally are in maintenance. And you mightn't tick all of these boxes, but that's kind of a good thing in terms of someone can be at a goal weight, but maybe you're not doing these things here. Maybe these are some of the things that you might want to add in. So it's more exercise driven being one. So like, again, like I kind of said just previously, having targets around fitness and performance. So like maintenance people, there's been studies done to show that maintenance people are people at a healthy weight, exercise more than those at an unhealthy weight. So in fat loss, maybe if people haven't been exercising and you're in that, you're on that path now to bring an exercise into your kind of daily life and into your habits, that's really, really good. And when you're in maintenance, like people tend to be more active in general and exercise more. So maybe then when you're in maintenance, exercise is part of your day-to-day life, and it's something then that isn't a chore or something that it's not so much I'm doing exercise to lose weight. It's like exercise is something I enjoy, or I'm trying to improve my fitness or whatever it may be. And that's basically what that performance-based goals means as well. The other thing that is a key behavior in terms of maintenance is regular, or more regular anyway, monitoring and tracking. So that might be your weight, because if you're not assessing, you're guessing. So you have to have some measurements to check if you've met your goals, if you're at your target weight, are you able to keep it at that weight? So as people get into maintenance and have like an improved relationship with food and a scale and maybe understand things more in terms of how their body reacts to stuff, I'd have no problem then if people want to weigh themselves a little bit more, like check in regularly and see what's happening with my weight. Is it going up, down, or whatever? And the other thing that people will do more and track more is like dietary intake. So that might be, we'll have a calorie challenge coming up in the next few days. So, but it doesn't mean that people need to track all the time, but people will have a bit more of a sense in terms of, right, how many grams of protein am I taking in? What calories should I take in each day? Is this going to be like, if I have 800 calories at lunch, is that going to be like half my day's amount? Or just having a better understanding in terms of that. And then next would be consistent habits. So maintenance, people at a healthier weight have been shown to have more consistent habits when it comes to nutrition. One thing is eating breakfast every day. You know, it sounds simple, but people overweight tend to skip meals and not have a purpose for skipping that meal, say. So like they might skip breakfast more often than people in a maintenance weight. And consistent habits in terms of our rules, our behaviors would be things like, right, eating protein every meal now isn't even a consideration. That's just something you do. carbon up and down, like carbon down on a non-training day, is just that just is something you do. It makes sense. You nearly do it without thinking. Eating lots of veg, avoiding sugars, avoiding fruit juices, just those sort of things. That the building blocks for all of your success are just consistent and they're ingrained. Next would be better body awareness, and that just means that people will understand a bit better that look, your weight will fluctuate a little bit between water weight, or having a better body awareness in terms of right, if I have a takeaway or I have a really bad weekend, my weight will go up a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. I know it comes down. Or knowing that certain foods disagree with you, or certain foods, say someone in maintenance should at that stage have probably figured out that if dairy is causing issues, that dairy should be out. And it's just having that better awareness, and that's just a byproduct of the time spent in terms of all of your kind of practice before that. And really the last thing then is for people would be having lifestyle is always going to be over diet. So by the time you reach maintenance, this should be a part of your lifestyle. It should be something that is ingrained. It's not torture for you to do. It's not a short-term thing. You have an understanding that it's a long-term thing, and that you're actually making progress month to month. But you're not sacrificing anything major. It's not it's not something that's implied that it's a short-term thing, that you're in it for the long run. You feel the habits and behaviors that you've created, you can stick with, and they're helping you long-term kind of as opposed to a short-term approach. So that's everything in terms of maintenance. I'll happily take more questions and stuff, and I can add to this if needs be. So just let me know in a comment below. Thanks.